Look at football's most expensive transfers of all time, and of course, it's stacked with signings from the last few years. That's normal. There's a little thing called inflation, and Neymar's 2017 move to Paris Saint-Germain supercharged the market. But still amongst them is a transfer that has echoed through to this day, particularly in the history of Real Madrid. Of course, it's Zinedine Zidane, who moved from Juventus for €76 million on the 9th of July 2001. And in the 21st century, no transfer has been more influential. Just like another of football's most seismic transactions, a napkin played a key part. At a Champions League gala in Monaco, Real Madrid president Florentino Pérez wrote in French, "Do you want to come and play in Madrid?" Zidane answered yes, and the rest was history, right? Well, it wasn't quite that simple. That was almost a year before he actually moved, back in August 2000. And within weeks, Zidane extended his contract at Juve. And even after the 2001 campaign, Zidane said he was going nowhere. "I'm staying at Juventus. That is all," he declared. But less than a month later, he told an Italian paper, "I've chosen Spain. If it was down to me, I'd already be at Real Madrid." Eventually, the two clubs agreed on a world record fee, breaking the mark set a year earlier with Luis Figo's ultra-controversial move from Barcelona. Juve spent the Zidane money on young goalkeeper Gianluigi Buffon and World Cup-winning defender Lilian Thuram, both from Parma, along with left-winger Pavel Nedved from Lazio. So, it's fair to say they did well out of the deal. But it also set in motion Real's next 2 decades. Following Figo a year earlier, and preceding Ronaldo in 2002 and David Beckham in 2003, Zidane's move came as part of the first wave of galácticos. That era is remembered as a bit of a flop, but mostly that came after Beckham arrived, and perhaps more importantly, after the club dispensed with defensive cogs like Claude Makelele, who was sold to Chelsea, and sacked manager Vicente Del Bosque a day after winning La Liga in 2003. Under Del Bosque, Real had won the Champions League twice, the second coming in Zidane's first season, with Zizou himself scoring the winner with one of the greatest goals in the tournament's history. The failure of the first Galácticos era after 2003 saw Pérez resign the presidency in 2006, only to return 3 years later and revive the Galácticos policy, finally breaking Zidane's world transfer record by signing Kaká from Milan and then Cristiano Ronaldo from Manchester United weeks later. Gareth Bale in 2013 would make it 5 times in a row that the record was broken by a player moving to Madrid. In 2016, after Rafael Benitez was sacked, Pérez opted for a strategy that had worked so well for Barcelona with Pep Guardiola, appointing one of their own as manager. And by then, Zidane was unquestionably a Real Madrid man. The fact he had been there and done it held weight with the Galácticos in the dressing room. And Real won 3 straight Champions Leagues and a La Liga title in his first spell as manager, and another La Liga in his second stint before resigning again, 20 years after he first signed with the club. It had turned sour with Pérez 21 years after that fateful note on a napkin. But what a ride it had been, defining Real's transfer strategy and delivering an iconic moment, and then returning years later to tie it all together and build one of the club's most successful eras. Thanks for watching. For more great content on all things football, make sure you hit the subscribe button.